Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got to talk about Iowa today. So, because Republicans got some good news and hopeful news, in a relatively Republican seat, but it has crushed Democrats' hopes. And I wouldn't say they were hoping, but there were some. I gotta admit it. There has been Democrats that were delusional to say we're gonna flip Iowa, because this senator's not running for re-election. And you guys probably know who's not running for re-election, and that is Joni Ernst. She will not be running for re-election. There was speculations that she was going to run for re-election, seeing that she got her act immediately together. When it comes to that dispute, when it comes to specifically trying to endorse and try to vote for the confirmation of Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, and she immediately got her act together like that. So a lot of people were like, is she running for re-election or not? But I wouldn't get so excited about Joni Ernst not running. It's not like she would have lost. She is somewhat vulnerable. I think she personally may have lost the primary, or would have lost the primary, before she would have lost the said election. But you'll see, looking at this gal's electoral history, it's not the best. I mean, let's be honest. Starting from the Senate race in 2014, yeah, she only cracked 52% to 43%. Now, there's context to this. This is a state that did vote for Obama in 2012, despite voting mostly Republican in the state level. So I will give it to Joni Ernst credit. But to a state that voted for Trump, not just in 2016, but in 2020, you had Republicans coming out to vote for Trump in Iowa. Trump expanded his Iowa margins, and Joni Ernst underperforms with Trump on the ticket. This is absolutely disgraceful. And yes, it's true. She'll say, well, look at how many counties. We flipped the counties up in the north. We flipped these counties down along the Mississippi River. We flipped a lot. Well, it doesn't matter. Counties don't matter. Percentage matters. And it's just, none of them cracked 1 million votes, which actually says a lot. Like, seriously, not even, is this a low turnout or what? Okay, oh yeah, they're saying, it was Trump's low approval ratings. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that, let's see, polls suggested that Ernst barely wins in the average. But yeah, honestly, she'll point out, obviously, that she overperformed. She'll take credit for that. Democrats very well could have took this said seat for sure. Yeah, she relatively remained pretty competitive. She did the polls were correct. Ernst did better in 2014 than in 2020, and we just laughed because Trump was on the ticket. And with Trump on the ticket, she's just too establishment. And as a result, being too establishment, she lost. And this is no real surprise because Iowa has a huge politician problem. Iowa has so many unpopular politicians. Do we seriously need to go over Kim Reynolds? Kim Reynolds is the most unpopular governor in Iowa, in the United States right now. This goes, and a lot of people will say, really? Well, she got reelected pretty handily. She did. Until her second term has been an absolute failure to the eyes of most Iowans. And my concern is that Kim Reynolds will run for the United States Senate, and I am praying she doesn't. But even if she does, I am not going to be panicking because, let's be honest. Yeah, she's relatively weak. Let's be honest. 2018 blue wave. But I want to talk about Kim Reynolds running for the United States Senate. If she runs, she probably would win, mainly because this would be a Senate race, a federal race. As you know, the Senate, partisans usually vote for, of course, they will send, vote mainly on their party lines. While governor, it's a little free-for-all, it's a little scattered everywhere. It's free roaming, really. You had Republicans and Democrat counties going to Republicans and Republican counties going to Democrats, or that really happens. But I'm just saying, You have states like Kentucky being Democrat. You have states like Vermont being Republican. It's not as strict as it is in the Senate, where it's very much going in line with the presidential race, because it's federal race. That's just what we're noticing in these sort of races. So but I do think that Kim Reynolds would underperform massively. And it depends on who she's running against, really. I mean, you do have Rob Sand running for governor, unless he bails out and decides to run for this race. So it really does depend on you could have Michael Fitzgerald run, and Michael Fitzgerald lost re-election in 2022. He could run again. He did do a pretty good relative performance, but we can take a look at those said results. But yeah, Kim Reynolds, not the best performance in 2018, but in 2018, Iowa was considered a swing state despite voting for Trump. And not to mention, Democrats did relatively well in Iowa. In 2022, it's not that different. And this is what the Kim Reynolds supporters would come out and they would say, oh, well, what you can't explain a landslide of right here. You got a landslide Kim Reynolds win, but I'm just saying, yes, it's true. But despite that, though, a lot has changed, and Reynolds is unpopular, unfortunately. I mean, if she wasn't so unpopular, I would have supported her. But hey, she's term limited, and I'm just saying, she might throw in the ring for a expanded political career, and I'm hoping that does not happen, because in her mind, who knows, maybe she knew all along that Ernst was dropping out. Reynolds could use this as an opportunity to expand, or she probably knows her popularity is very, very, very low. And how delusional is Race to the White House? They're saying it's tilting Republican. Are you kidding me? So let me get this straight. Cook Political Reports, Sabutus Cristobal, Inside Elections, they're all coming out saying this is likely Republican. And now Race to the White House, because the week in the Joni Ernst drops out, therefore it's a tilting Republican. You can't be this delusional, Race to the White House. This is a weak GOP congresswoman. Look at her. Jackie Norris is literally, she probably saw this poll and said, I probably shouldn't run. Like, who am I kidding? Nathan Sage lost by 4 points to Joni Ernst. Same deal with Josh Turek, Zach Wells, and a generic Democrat only getting 43% into Joni Ernst getting 45%. And I'll call it bluff. Inside Elections, Cook Political Reports, Sabutos Cristobal, delusional. And now the shoe's on the other foot. They're all coming to say it's going to be Democrats because the seat's open. Okay, I would agree to that, but who are you running? I mean, Michael Fitzpatrick lost. His jazz is over. Who are you even running? Okay, Nathan Sage, market director for KNI. That's not a political office. And Nathan Sage, never heard of him. Jackie Norris, she is the chair of the Des Moines School Board and former chief of staff to the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. Yeah, she looks very intelligent. I'm just saying, not much. She's a chief of staff to the First Lady, not even experienced. She was in office from March 2009 to June 2009. Oh, what a great job. How did she couldn't even make it. She couldn't even make it 4 or 5 months in that job. And she wants to run for Senate? Are you kidding me? She can't handle running in a federal office. That's not even a federal office. That's just helping and carrying the dishes for the First Lady. Josh Turek is more experienced. He's a state representative, but I've never heard of him before. He comes from a relatively Democratic area, Des Moines City. I'm just saying, is that all you got? You got Zach Walls, another state senator from the 43rd district. And you got someone already leaving, J.D. Scholten. He is the state representative from the 1st district and was a nominee for the 4th district. How did he do well? Well, actually, no, he does okay. J.D. Scholten. He won, you see, like the last video we did, we're talking about Iowa again, and Woodbury County, we talked about that in the last video. Voted Democratic, you see? I'm telling you all, it's not as Republican as what people think. And I get this is 2018. A lot has happened in 2018. Steve King, of course. Of course, he ran in 2020. This is more relevant. To give me a break. 37%. This is 2 years. You went from 2018, from 47% now to 37%. A 10% drop. And this guy says, oh, I'm going to run for governor. Well, he did withdraw. So, I mean, what Democrats could say is a relatively strong candidate in general ended up dropping out of the race. So that's the best they can get. And you got delusional sources like Race to the White House suggesting that this is going to be a tilting Republican. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Come on. No. This is a seat going to be carried by Republicans, and I get Race to the White House is saying it's still going to be Republican, but it shouldn't be a decrease. In fact, it should be an increase. You have the lady of incompetency not running for re-election. Now, I could understand Race to the White House saying tilting Republican, or even toss-up if Kim Reynolds runs, and I'm hoping she doesn't. Or, in other words, Rob Sand. We can actually take a look at Rob Sand, who is actually running for governor. But, you know, it has happened before. Rob Sand did originally run for governor in 2022. He withdrew to run for a second term. But seeing that the seat is, of course, open, and, you know, it's a vacant seat, just like the governor's seat, though. Well, it's less likely that he would go for the Senate than for the governor's seat. But seeing that the governor's seat is more flexible, and, of course, he's stepped foot into the governor's race once, and he's likely going to pursue. But if he were to get into the Senate race, he is relatively someone we shouldn't underestimate, but we shouldn't panic if he does, and I don't think he will, because his jazz is wearing off. Yeah, this guy is well-liked. 2018, he did relatively well, but this was, of course, a blue wave year. Iowa still relatively Democratic in the voting registration, but you'll see he almost lost. How he won? Well, he had good turnout in the countryside, like right up here, 60% Democratic. Yeah, he won these 3 districts. Woodbury County was tossed up. 70% in Johnson County. You got these 60% counties. Dubuque, another major Iowa city, went to Sand. So, yeah, he played his cards correctly, earning him a second term, but his popularity swung so much in a matter of 4 years. This guy barely won re-election. If he runs for Senate, he will lose. I think he knows that. So he's going to run for governor. Even if he runs for governor, though, this is more of a popular office. Let's be honest, people didn't show up to the polls to vote for Rob Sand in 2022. They voted for the governor, right? Midterms. Maybe they like Rob Sand personally. Looks like a friendly guy, even though he looks like he's also probably a lunatic. So they probably circled his name. But I guarantee you, there's a lot of Iowans that say, oh, I like Rob Sand as an auditor, but I don't think he will be a good governor. There are a lot of those people. Or they'll just say, you know, I believe in transparency, but I think Iowa should remain Republican-led. So, yes, that's kind of what it could be the case. But there's also Michael Fitzgerald, who lost re-election in 2022. Well, I'm bringing him up because he might run for re-election. And Fitzgerald is just, and he will lose, by the way, promise you, because this guy's hilarious. He is the longest-serving treasurer in the United States, serving from 1983 to 2023. There's a reason why he lost re-election, guys, and it's because his name, popular name, like, look at all this. Look at all this. 1982, 1986, 1990, 1994, 1998, 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022. This guy is a running track record. Yeah, and he lost re-election, and I think he mostly lost re-election not because he ran too many. Lost re-election not because he did a bad job. He just ran too many times. You're going to lose. You're going to lose eventually, Mr. Fitzgerald. It's just a matter of fact. And 2022 is your year to lose. You got Robbie Smith now, the new treasurer, but he does do very well for running like for the 11th time. I mean, like, this is FDR, the tenure of FDR on repeat. Like, seriously, this is like a Dollar Tree FDR, a Dollar Tree FDR, Iowa FDR, but it's in the treasurer. But 2018, yeah, Iowa really likes this guy. I'm just saying, they really like Michael Fitzgerald. 54% to 42%. Countryside, very Democratic, which is very good in his take. 2014, yeah, they still like him. He wins by 9 points. Let's see if I can pull up some previous results from Iowa Dave Leaps, because Dave Leaps has good takes. Treasurer. So yeah, 2014, 2010, Michael Fitzgerald, 52% to 47%. It's getting a little shocked. But yes, he's doing consistently very well in the countryside. And that arguably is reason why he keeps winning. Countryside's carrying him over. 2010, 2006, he wins everything. 99%, write-in, 0.76%. 2002, Fitzgerald wins again, 54% to 43%. 1998, 55% to 43%. 1994, Fitzgerald, 53% to 43%. This guy's spoiled. Like, seriously, this guy's gotten spoiled. He wants more and more and more and more and more. 1990, 58%. This guy carried every county, we know for sure. As he won by 100%. Is this 1990? 1986, I think this is, 57% to 42%. And here's probably his first run, and you can see by the results. Little did Maurice Beringer know that this guy's going to stay in office forever. He's a career politician, and I think Iowans know that, and they're not even going to bother voting for this. This guy's how old? 73 years old. This is a photo from not too long ago. He looks 2016. 73 years old. But yeah, this guy's not running. And if he does run, it's going to be a humiliating mistake because Iowans will reject him. He's going to be a Sherrod Brown, but a discount Sherrod Brown, in other words. People are done. I mean, let's be honest. You are on the ballot since 1982. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Harry Byrd pulled it off. I want to believe Byrd is the longest serving. No, it's not. I don't think that's true. I thought Strom Thurmond or Harry Byrd. Those two prominent right-wing former Democrats. I count Strom Thurmond as a Democrat, even though he died as a Republican. He was Republican in most of his famous years, but But still, they served the longest, and they just built a legacy. That's how they managed to carry their way through. But I want to talk about primaries, and then we're going to end this video. But you already got Joni Ernst just said she's not running. They have not edited that. That's sad. But you got Jim Carlin, state senator, and the United States candidate for U.S. Senate in 2022. He's running. And in that primary, he did receive 26%. But let's be honest. Put context to this. This is a 90-year-old senator. 91. This guy was older than Joe Biden, Chuck Grassley, and he only got 26%. Heck, Grassley carried every county. I mean, you basically lost every county to a 90-year-old senator. Can this guy really win the primary? I do think major figures will run. But the question's going to be who is competent. But you got also the Joshua Smith, who's the former vice chair of the Libertarian National Committee. Libertarian. He's going to be a Ron Paul Jr., the Ron Paul of the Ron Paul or the Rand Paul, if you want, whatever you want to call it. The Ron Paul of Iowa. He's going to run. He ran for president. He was a candidate president 2024. Joshua Smith. How did he do in the Libertarian primaries? Looking for Joshua Smith. Joshua Smith won my state, Minnesota. Now, I understand there's no county results, which is disappointing. But he won Minnesota. You should be proud about that. He carried something. If you couldn't carry a state, and I mean, let's be honest, you won 416 votes. That's the Libertarian Party for you. But you got swept across the ballot. You did win Arizona and Alaska, New Jersey in the primary. I mean, in the convention, which is good. I mean, he's competent. But is he competent to be a U.S. Senator? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think being a chair of a third party that doesn't win anything is competency to become a basic. Yeah, it's difficult. But yeah. I don't think you're qualified if you're just a libertarian. You're a party chair. I understand if you're from. I understand if you are, let's just say, a congressman from, or a party chairman like Michael Watley. He's a party chair from the Republican Party. Delivered Trump's win. But you're a third party that doesn't win anything. Nothing. You win 3%, and then that's a good day. That's probably a landslide for the Libertarians. So, I want to talk about the potential, and then we will end this video with a prediction. So, in other words, a hypothetical. But yes, Joni Ernst is not running. We can officially say, has she officially announced she won't run? Let's see. I think she just announced. Yeah, she's retiring. I don't know why Wikipedia has not done anything. I want to make sure. Yeah, Joni Ernst won't seek re-election in the Senate, sources say. This is according to sources. Yeah, and New York Times has confirmed. So, I don't know why we are being very slow in regards to this, but you got potential. Ignore Miss Ernst. She's not supposed to be there. But you got Republican Party. These are candidates so far. Ashley Hinson is probably the best. I don't want to jinx it. Oh, yeah, for sure we are not running Miller Meeks. Forget Miller Meeks. She is not running. Kari Lake has declined to run. fun fact, you don't have to be from Iowa to run for the Senate in Iowa. You just have to be competent. Not really. It's not going to stop you, but in order to win that race, though. But you got, of course, Ashley Hinson. And from the 2nd District. And Hinson, let's see how she performs. I want to see how she performs. Ashley Hinson. This is the historic boundaries. 2024, Iowa's 2nd Congressional District. Okay. There we go. Right on top. And she does relatively well. She did lose Black Hawk County, but Black Hawk County does have Waterloo. So, and that is a college city. And although Trump barely lost the county, actually. It's relatively competitive. You'll see. Unless, actually, never mind. That might not be Black. Is that really Black Hawk? Oh, no. Hang on. Never mind. This is actually, this map is the 1st district. So never mind. Everything in regards to that is nothing. But Ashley Hinson is somewhat competent, although she did improve her performance in 2022. You could say low turnout, low propensity. Yeah, she's getting more popular. So I would say, yeah, she has a chance in winning. I would be 100% open for her to run. But also you got Matthew Whitaker, who is a U.S. ambassador and has ran in Iowa before for state treasurer, although he lost because we decided to re-elect discount FDR. 2002 for the treasurer. Yeah, I mean, Whitaker did pretty bad on paper, but that was because you were running against a juggernaut. I think he would do pretty well this time around. He is, of course, an ambassador to NATO. He has the experience and has the important title. So I would be 100% open, and I think he probably is a neocon, to be honest. It's really up between Whitaker and Hinson. And I will be obviously open to both of those, but in a primary race. But yes, I do think Whitaker would do better, in my view, if he ran and wouldn't do his 2014. But he was a candidate in 2014. And yeah, we decided to ditch Whitaker for Tony Ernst. And Whitaker, yeah, it's not looking good for him in primaries. 7%. And I mean, it's 2002, 2014, you would think on paper, 12 years later, you'd think it would be okay. But I think Iowans just straight out rejected this guy. He can't even carry a county. You'll see the counties in red are voting for Joni Ernst, green going for San Clovis, and Mike Jacobs winning just one on the top. But anyway, we'll close this video off by basic prediction, and it will be pretty easy. With the 5 main Democrat counties, going for the Democratic nominee, whoever that may be. We're not really going to put a candidate up, but we can basically officially say that it's relatively going to look like this. Whether, or just for funsies, I would say maybe Hinson will be the nominee. Let's do a Hinson versus, we'll do the Republican. We'll put the Democrat in after the prediction. We'll fill up all these counties in Iowa. But to end it this way, this is a race that you can watch, but it's a race that's not really a battleground state. Democrats know very well they're not going to pick the state up. They might talk tough game. They might try to intimidate. Oh, we're going to win Iowa. We're going to win. We're going to win Iowa. We're going to win the Senate. And they know very well that they're not going to win the Senate. They're not going to win Iowa. They might throw money in the fire in Iowa just to appease their base, but they're not going to win it. Really, I wouldn't be freaking out over who we run in Iowa. let's take a look at the candidate here. Let's see, Democrats. Who are they likely going to draw? They don't even have any potentials, guys. No potentials for Democrats. This is how low name they are. They have no one. So you could run Nathan Sage, or how about Jackie Norris? Because she is a brat queen of Michelle Obama. Like that means anything. Yeah, this is what you're getting. A race simulator looking like this. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.